Welcome back, everybody, once again to Ragecraft 2 Insomnia. I am TJ the Obscure with you, and this is going to be the third and final video for me that has no game audio and no original commentary, so I'm doing another voiceover here for the Brown Wool area. It's kind of interesting getting to watch myself play after the fact. For a number of reasons. It also really just kind of confirms how bad my memory is, because it's like I played this just the other day and I don't even remember what the heck I did this episode. But I do remember now being somewhat confused at this point, because I know that Brown Wool in this map is the one where you get transported back to the monument, right? Where it's like the fake monument, the nightmare monument, or whatever you want to call it. Which in my original playthrough, I had like this creepy music that shows up and stuff. It was really, really nice. I used to put a lot more effort into my editing, I will say. At the same time, I think I was maybe worse at the game. I don't know. I feel like I've gotten lazier as the years have gone by, while at the same time my skills have stayed pretty crisp and developed and stuff, and like if I really want to, I can go like really hardcore on a map, but like oftentimes I just find myself getting kind of lazy and making a lot of really dumb moves. And maybe that's just my excuse is you know, oh, it's just me being lazy and not evidence of me getting worse at the game due to old age. You know, I know I've read about even in like, I mean, this is common in normal sports, but even in like esports where older players will just not be able to compete with younger players because their reflexes aren't as good. But I don't know if that's entirely true or not. I'd love to see some actual evidence, some actual data on that. Anyways, yeah, we got charge creepers, we got flying charge creepers, we got guys that nearly slaughtered us. One thing that stood out to me about this area was just how much stronger the mobs seem compared to some of the previous areas. I'm just like, oh my gosh, I'm gonna die. And they're dropping potions too. And my gear is decent. I guess I have the one helmet and then the boots, which only have fire protection, but it's still diamond armor. I was kind of surprised they were doing that much damage to me, and it certainly made me a lot more, I don't know if cautious is the right word to use. In fact, it was maybe the exact opposite of that. I just wanted to speed through and get out as fast as possible while avoiding all engagement with the enemy, basically. But yeah, I have no recollection of this mushroom area. I thought it was just going to take us straight to the monument, which of course wouldn't make a whole lot of sense. So having this kind of transitional mushroom area, especially with the lore where the spores or whatever from the mushrooms make you hallucinate. I think it's just such a great area, just a classic area, and I think kind of broke the tradition, because brown wools were always kind of troll wools, but they turned into, and maybe they were always kind of like joke wools, where often they wouldn't really be challenging, there wouldn't really be much to them. This one still does the kind of trolliness, it still kind of maintains that spirit, but actually offers a challenging dungeon to get through at the same time. So, and then I think that became more common moving forward, where the brown wool wasn't just this kind of, you know, little 2-minute joke wool or whatever. But in some of the older maps, they really were. They were just kind of, or it might be like a single trap or something, but they were often really, really short and really easy. Oh man, the flying charge creepers, you know, I remember them in Ragecraft 1. I did not remember them being in this map, and I'm kind of surprised, because I know that when people talk about Ragecraft 1, they will often cite the flying charge creepers as evidence of balance problems with mob design and stuff, how it just makes things too hard. But then they show up again here, And I don't think I've seen people complain about the flying charge creepers in this map. Maybe they don't hit as hard. Maybe it's harder to actually trigger them. I don't know. But we make it here to the brown wool. And at this point, things are kind of starting to come back to me. I remember, like, oh yeah, we got to teleport there first. Although one thing I didn't try that I wanted to try, and maybe I did try it before, and I'm sure many people have tried it and can tell me what happens, is what happens if you take the brown wool and take it all the way back to the start and use that teleporter there. Do you still end up in the fake monument? I'm guessing yes, you probably do. But it's something I meant to try and then kind of forgot to do uh, once I actually got here. That's a lot of spiders. A lot of spiders. I will say that after Blue Wool, this was a welcome change of pace. Although I kind of like Blue Wool because it's underwater, but it's really not. It's mainly a lot of indoors, close quarters fighting, which to me is the really fun stuff about CTM maps. Um, I don't know, when you have these wide open areas, it just makes it a little too easy to kind of run through. Um, so I kind of like blue, but it's still just way too big with way too many little keys and levers and stuff. I'm starting to piece things together now at this point, I think. Maybe. Sometimes. Sometimes I'll just take these long pauses in my videos where the goal is to get out some kind of complicated thought that I'm having. And I'll just kind of sit there and talk. And I wonder if that drives anybody crazy. But sometimes it's so hard to play and talk at the same time. Even right now, where I'm not playing, it's challenging to keep the commentary going and keep it interesting, I think. Unless I talk about things that aren't really game related. Which is another thing. It's like how much I think I just got a comment saying like, "Oh, I really like the ones where you talk a little bit about your life and kind of what's going on and stuff." But then I've also gotten feedback saying like he spends 10 minutes talking about nothing but, you know, things not related to the game and then beats the dungeon in 5 minutes and that's it. So, I don't know. There we go. So we are now in the fake monument, and of course the thing that gives it away are the flashing lights on the teleporters. Interestingly, the little fake secret room back here is still here, and nothing about it has changed. I would think this would be a great spot for a little Easter egg or something to kind of confirm that it's a nightmare monument. I just noticed I didn't have my pants on. Something to, or even like a little trap or something. And I know the first time I played this dungeon, I spent a lot more time, I think, in this nightmare part, largely because it really just kind of threw me off and wasn't really sure what to expect here. I'm trying to think of other maps that have done this as well. And none come to mind, although I feel like there must have been other maps that copied this idea, right? Or another way to put that would be that paid homage uh, to this idea, right? Um, but yeah, I can't think of any. Or that even just used portions of an area and like corrupted it in some way. Maybe even deforming it, not using the exact same terrain. I know it's been done before, I just can't think of any. Honestly, though, I do find this brown wool area pretty, at least the monument portion, really easy. I mean, there's no flying charge creepers or anything like that. At least not as far as I know. So the second half of the dungeon kind of feels easier than the first half, but maybe the real threat is the kind of psychological warfare that's going on here with this idea of being in the monument that's now been taken over by all the mobs and stuff. That same comment that said they enjoyed the commentary from me also posed a question about breaking spawners, and I haven't responded to it yet on YouTube, and I figured, well, I'll just go ahead and talk about it right now. Oh my gosh, that creeper just snuck up on me. It must really suck watching these without any game sounds too. At the same time though, the explosions must really be surprising, especially the creepers, because you don't hear them. So all of a sudden, there's all these explosions everywhere. Especially that last episode in Blue Wool, I was getting like juggled by the creeper explosions. Which, by the way, why was I not dying? I took at least one like point blank range, and I think it did like maybe half damage. Maybe they're not, fully charged creepers. I'm not sure, but it certainly felt like I should have died a couple times there in blue. Anyways, so this commenter asked about why I break spawners, um, and I'm trying to remember what series this was on now. I can't remember. Um, and I don't always break spawners, but especially if you watch some of my older videos, I would go out of my way to break every spawner in an area. And I think his question was along the lines of like, look, if you've already put torches around it and disabled it, why bother breaking it at that point? Like you've already disabled the spawner, and there are a number of reasons for that. Um, Number one, and these are not necessarily in order of importance, but number one, it's fun. It's fun. It's fun. I love breaking spawners. I have no idea why. There's something just so satisfying about running up to one and seeing the little flame inside, just kind of, just the little pop, and then it's just extinguished, and kind of watching all the lives of all those little potential mobs just get extinguished right before your eyes. There's just something so very satisfying about it. And then the way that the XP orbs float into your body, and it's like you're consuming their life force, it makes you feel so very powerful. So powerful. It's addictive. Why do you think I'm still playing this game after like 7 years or whatever? It's been even longer. It's been like 10 years, huh? Oh my gosh. That's okay. I still play Final Fantasy, the original one, after like 30 years or whatever, so uh, but some other reasons, some more pragmatic reasons, are that even if you have it lit up, that torch is not permanent. That light is not permanent. Things can take out that torch, whether it's a creeper blast, um, TNT, or even your own stupidity. There are many times where I've accidentally knocked out my own torches trying to break a block or swing my sword or whatever, and that allows for enough darkness for something new to spawn. So it's a defensive maneuver to ensure that the area is safe, basically. Also, the XP, right? So you get stuff for enchanting and for repairing gear. Spawners are a great source of that. Some spawners are not affected by light, and I was really hoping to make that jump. But those pigmen with their super long arms, which is something I miss. I wish there were more mobs with greater reach. We need like some mid-range reach mobs. Um, but gosh, what was I saying? I have no idea now. Oh yeah, some spawners aren't affected by light, and it's not always ones that you would expect, like blazes and pigmen and stuff. But sometimes even a zombie spawner could potentially not be affected by light if it's set up in a certain way. So the light there is not 100% a safeguard against mob spawning, which means you're not safe. And it's always about safety, right? Staying alive in these maps. I don't know. It's yeah. And I'm always tempted to say it, but I don't. And sometimes I think I get kind of close to saying it. Which, by the way, I did not remember that the exit is right here. I just kind of got lucky seeing the little path here. Because the first time I played this, I actually got stuck in this area for a long time looking for the exit. So I got lucky finding it again right now. But you know, the way that Zisto used to say, like, say goodbye, spawner. I don't know. There's just something about breaking them. It's just for me, it's a big part of playing a CTM is breaking the spawners. Hopefully that answers the question. And I'm sure people could think of other reasons too that I'm just not really considering. I made pancakes this morning with no eggs. No eggs. I've been making everything with no eggs. And I love to bake. You believe how freaking hard it is to... Have you noticed I say the word frickin' a lot? It's just a habit I developed. My daughter has picked up that habit though now too. And the other day she started saying like, that's frickin' annoying or something like that. It was the cutest thing ever. But yeah, pancakes with no... I also made a coffee cake recently, and I made tiramisu, and oh my gosh, you guys, I get bored, and then I just start baking things. But yeah, we have placed the brown wool, and I think I go and grab some emeralds, because we now have enough emeralds to do another emerald block. And, oh man... You pointed out that, like in blue, there was like 11 emeralds. I think I got like 7 of them, and I was like, yeah, I think we got all of them. And then you said that there was 11, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, I mean, we got a majority of them, but still, I don't think we're gonna be able to finish the Emerald Monument. I kind of like the way emeralds are done in this map, where you just find them in random chests. I know they've moved away from that. But I don't know, it's like you run up to the chest and you don't know if you're going to get one or not. And then when you do, it's just so very exciting. Bum, 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 bum. Emerald block number 9 has been placed, and we get Spectral Mask. So we now have like 2 really good diamond helms that I don't want to use because I have the one mask thing that gives me the speed buff. So it's like, yeah. But maybe I should, especially with how hard hitting the mobs were in brown. I probably should. And then I think I go with the strength buff here. It's the one that just made the most sense. The life drain, I just don't think is quite powerful enough. Whereas frenzy is going to make you, you know, go through mobs pretty quickly. But I think that's just about it for the video. So again, we should be back to regular content with sound and everything, but that's going to be it from me for today. Thanks for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you next time.